Hi and welcome to the Shave Tank. Today we are going to talk about leather because I've been asked, Shave Tank, your leather when you're shaving videos looks a lot drier and creamier compared to some other people that face leather and do it differently. This may well be the case because everyone has a sweet spot, so to say. So I only can show you what I recommend you to do and check out your own sweet spot. And that's actually quite simple. We're going to take one of my favorite soaps, and that's also easy to lather. So do this with an easy to lather soap like this Brazzo Red. It's a totally easy and cheap soap, so you can do a lot of testing with it without it costing you a fortune. And we're going to use the Omega S brush, also cheap synthetic brush, which tends to get a very easy lather. I'm going to wet the brush, just dry it out quite a lot, and go in there and load it up. Load it like you hate. Now you see I'm going in there quite dry. You see that because there are some flakes flying around and all that stuff. But nonetheless, this synthetic is loading very nicely. And that's enough for our demonstration. As you see, this is a lot too dry. This is no leather at all. Now, to try this whole stuff, I actually like to mug bowl leather. So go in the bowl, leather, and that would even be too dry for me, because you see, when you look in there, you see these waves there, and that's because of the dryness of the whole thing. That's very dry. So just dip it in water, just a little bit, or dribble water on the brush, and go in there. Now there is some foam coming, but still quite dry. As you can see, still very flaky. So more water. And at some point you get sort of a cream explosion when this whole thing turns to be very creamy. It goes very fast with this Brazzo because it's so easy to lather. And that's actually already very near the consistency I like. I do a little bit more water. Just to generate more foam. And there you go. And that's actually the creamy pasty consistency I like. You can test this very easy. If I go with my finger in there, you see this very cream thing happening, and it's not totally wet, so stuff isn't flying around there. I like that, and that would be good for me, but maybe not for you. Maybe you want a little bit more, so add more water, and we go in there. Still very creamy, I still would consider this okay. So let's add a little bit more water. And you can see it now builds a lot of foam in there due to lots of water. And this would actually be perfect for some guys. This would be already a little bit too watery for me. Now I wouldn't add any more water because that would definitely be too much for me. But this would be okay. You can see still good creamy slickness. And that would still give you a good shave. As I said, I would personally stop a little bit earlier, but that's still absolutely okay. Now when the fun gets a little bit too far, or what even the most watery guys think it's too far, is add just a little bit more water and a little bit more. Now I don't know if you can see that, but there are a lot of bubbles building in there, air bubbles, because the foam is now so soft that a lot of air gets worked in there. So it's really bubbly. Now possibly some people still like this, but that would be too much for me. As you can see, if I would lather this on my hand. Now of course, if you get too much of this and you want it to dry out a little bit, just put it on your face and work it in your face, or in my case I will do it on the hand, and it will start to dry out again. But you see, it makes a lot of this foam things and actually pushes the whole leather to the outside, and there's not much leather in there. Of course you can paint over this and get something on there, but even painting, as you can see, will remove a lot of leather and keep this quite thin. So in my book that would be too thin and too watery to have a decent protection against the razor blade. Now, as with everything, your mileage may vary. So the best thing you can do to find your own sweet spot, in my opinion, is hear the gurgling of the water. No, kidding. Start quite dry, like I did, and then add water. Do this for a week. Every day you add a little bit more water, and to find your sweet spot, keep it to the same razor, same blade, and you'll find your own sweet spot. And when you found that, go with this consistency and try to replicate it with another soap. That's basically the best thing you can do. And that's what I do. So if you're gonna shave, be sure to shave like a tank. Thank you very much. Let's high five and see you next time.